Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Zombies Love Bacon podcast, episode 29. Not cancelled, back not in America, and going strong. As much as the Earth's trying to destroy Melbourne at the moment, we're alive and we're podcasting from it like so many people that are stuck at home. I'm joined today with returning after a break, thanks to the Americans, Shelby.
Hello. I just
She
woke
dodged
up.
a bullet there.
Did you want to say something, Shelby, before we move on to the next guest?
No, I'm okay.
Okay. All right. You broke her already. And Meech is also here. Hello, Meech.
Hello. Yeah. How you going?
And joining us all the way from the home of pizza is Gravy.
What's up?
It is the home of pizza, right? I didn't get that wrong. Italians made pizza.
I'm pretty sure it is, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we invented
And
it.
he lives on a volcano, and his mum was talking to a construction worker.
You know what's funny about that? The whole thing, for those wanting context, we were showing off weird places that we live because Gravy lives in a volcano. He's the guy that...
I live on the volcano, not in the volcano.
I thought we were talking about how the hobbits have to return the ring to you. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, they do.
But like we were Google Maps or Google Street View or whatever the hell it's called, and you pointed out that your mother is on Google Street. So is mine. If you look up my parents' house, my mum's standing at the front as well.
For real?
It should be like a law. Everyone's mother has to stand at the front of their house.
That's
There's a spot where myself and my mother were captured driving around in our car, and that's in my hometown.
God, you ended that with driving in your car.
Yeah, right?
So,
I'm like,
went,
what
like,
the fuck?
roller coaster, you were captured, like...
Held to ransom, or...
No, unfortunately not. I don't think anyone would try to ransom me. I'm not sure how much value they would get out of that.
I mean, they'll try.
Okay. Eladi, as my partner, and
you know how much money I've got.
Dearly. Yeah, how much?
No, but
how much would you pay for me?
I haven't got
that.
You're dead. I haven't got any money.
You're dead. You can sell off some items.
Could you imagine? All right, hypothetical, total hypothetical.
Yeah, hypothetical.
They kidnap you. They kidnap you, and they're like, okay, we're gonna call you a significant other, and we're gonna ransom him. How much do you reckon you can get? And you're like, oh, you kidnapped the wrong person.
Accurate, yeah.
It sounds like you're threatening them too. Like you kidnapped the wrong person. It's just, oh, really? I'm broke. I'm broke.
I know, really, yeah.
And then I'll go, what about your parents? I'll be like, that's even worse.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, everyone knows I am poor. I pretend to be rich because I buy lots of toys to keep myself occupied, but I'm definitely poor. My parents are poor. We grew up very poor. So, like, yeah, I can imagine if, like, it'll be, like, I could offer them a cat, you know, maybe they can come on the podcast.
You would give away Chip for Shelby?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Aww.
Shelby's less maintenance than Chip. Chip, I'm just gonna say it, no filter. Chip just did the biggest, stinkiest shit that has stunk out the entire building, right? And he screamed as he sped down the hallway, knocking things over after he did it, to pronounce that he has indeed dropped a toxic waste bomb in the house. Right? Shelby never does that. So
my theory of cats doing the
Shelby never shits on the fucking floor. She's better than the cat.
Well done, Shelby.
True.
Congratulations.
I just want to put out there. It got to a point because whenever he was pooping, as a kitten and whatever, he would just scream as he poops and scream afterwards. So it got to a point we thought something was wrong with him. So Lottie had to ask about it at his next vet appointment. They're just like, no, he's dramatic.
It literally sounded like he got himself stuck in the door or something, and he was screaming for help. But no, he was just just releasing the tension as he was pooping. You know,
you ever just shit and scream?
I mean, once, but I was having a bad night. But it actually sounds therapeutic, you know. If you got to take a big dump, you just scream at the same time. You get it coming out both ends, you know. It's just
yeah.
Since we're on the subject, right? We are on the subject, me and my wife have recently got potty squatties, man.
Oh yeah,
and they're fucking awesome.
I want one of those.
You literally have a step
What are they?
under your feet. So when you take a shit, your like knees are elevated above your waist, and it just
shit, but
you shit. It's because basically humans were designed, or all of us, all are like mammals, were designed to squat and shit. And being in a seating position, it's not the natural way to release your turd. So someone is making a fortune in basically selling plastic steps that were probably useless up until this point for only midgets and small people, and selling them as potty squatties. And you put your feet up and you take shit and boom. Like you're in and out, no mess. Hairy bums rejoice because like it just doesn't connect, so you're good.
Maybe if we got Chip a squatty potty, he would.
God, I was thinking the same thing. I don't know why. When you said mammals weren't designed, I'm like, Chip needs a squatty potty. Needs to lift his legs up above his head before he does his little pooches.
Yeah. And I've got the theory about the cats as well. Like when they every cat fucking goes for like a fucking sprint after they take a shit.
Apparently, it like releases endorphins. I looked it up.
Oh, I thought it was because they feel light. Like they've lost weight. And they're like, oh, I can run. Oh my God, I'm so fast.
You know how sometimes like if you had like a long day and you sit down, you feel that real like almost like it's like you just go, oh, that feels so good to sit down, or cold breeze. It's like that. They take a big shit. It's like drugs to them. They're just like, oh yeah, that's good. Watch me run like invincible. And then meanwhile, I just get this big whiff of just disgusting.
That's fucking funny.
Anyway, so I'll trade Shelby for the cat and Shelby. I can trade them. That's fine. I still stand by and I'm going to get some flack here, but I know I stand by the fact that cats are, as much as they are high maintenance, they're still lower maintenance than dogs. So it's,
I don't know.
True.
Only the thing with dogs, and the one thing is, like, particularly in this apartment, if that dog wants to go to the toilet, he's not going to go into the litter tray, is he? It's just not going to happen.
If you train him to.
You can get like grass pad things that you put
outside. I know,
outside.
that's what the other apartments do, but it's like, you still got to clean all that up.
I think it's very much.
I feel like if you're gonna have a dog, just me, totally just me. But like, I feel bad for not letting a dog have some grass to touch, like go out in the backyard, even if it's the smallest backyard. They just need a little bit of outside something. That's just my opinion.
There's some breeds that don't necessarily want to touch grass, like Wally breeds.
Yeah, but have you heard how high maintenance Wally is?
Wally's a different sort of cat, but that breed, as somebody who's had 3 Cavaliers before, King Charles Cavaliers, for those listening, they don't want to do anything.
Like me.
Yeah, exactly. It's you as a dog, but cuter.
Wow. Wow. Okay, I see how it is. Yeah. That's fine.
Alani, I don't like your goatee.
What?
Let's just. I don't know. I thought we just.
What the fuck? All right, I'm shaving it off. All right.
It's not even a goatee. It's a beard.
No, I'm just saving the goatee part.
Yeah, just have the chops.
Mutton chops.
Yeah, just got full mutton chops.
Can you elaborate, Meech?
No, I just thought we were saying mean things to Alani.
Yeah, you thought he would pile on the bullying.
Oh, Gravy, do you have anything you want to add to?
Yeah, Gravy, what don't you like about me? Okay, good. That's it. That's the right answer.
Can I only say one thing?
Wow. Wow.
This is a difficult one. Which one do I pick?
Yeah, true.
It's funny. Funny you mentioned that because my work is like. This is gonna sound. I cringed myself to death, I think, when I heard this. Anyway, it's November soon, and we're planning up for Movember. Obviously, everyone usually grows a mo, and then people donate because they look so dorky. They've never grown a mo before, and it goes to like men's health and prostate cancer and all that stuff. It's a good cause. Anyway, because of lockdown and how shit the world is, everyone's got mows now, so it's kind of the norm. So most people have grown facial hair in some form. And they tried. At one point they sort of hinted at, "Hey, if you've got one, maybe you should shave it off and grow it back." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know." And then anyway, so I have this theory, right? Some people, and I don't like take it however way you want, but there's definitely some people out there who just create work for themselves so that they can say that they're a valuable employee and get to keep their job, but really they don't really do shit all, right?
Oh, 100%.
100%. So there's this group that are like a marketing team, and they're like, oh, well, we're going to make Movember. We're going to redesign Movember so it's for the ladies. I'm like, well, that kind of defeats the purpose of what Movember's about anyway, because it's kind of about men's health. And they're like, yeah, but, we don't want it. We want it so that women can feel included in this. I'm like, okay. Like the previous years, what they tend to do is they're like, if women want to do it, they can put like a fake mustache on and take photos and do social posts and support and whatever, which is all fine. It's all like, I have nothing against Movember. Here comes the cringe. So the marketing team, because I work in hardware, they're like, well, we're going to change it. It's no longer about the mow on your face. It's about the mowing your lawn. And we're going to get people to mowing the lawn and take pictures of them mowing the lawn. I'm like, nah, seriously, nah. No. But it's happening. It's still happening because I don't get a say.
If they want female Movember, just tell them to not shave their legs for a month.
It's not even about
100% though. That would be like the equivalent of like having to grow embarrassing facial hair for a lot of women. If they want women included, do that. But honestly, it's a men's space. It's a men's issue.
It's an awareness thing.
You don't have to include us.
Yeah, okay, exactly. But so that's all fine. I'm totally on board with all that. But when they say mowing the lawn, that's them just trying to sell lawnmowers at this point. Like it's not even about men's health.
Correct, right. Okay.
Yeah, because I work in hardware. They're like they're like we've partnered with Makita and some other fucking whatever company, all these companies, and they're like, we're gonna mow the lawn for Movember. I'm like,
that sounds like a scam.
But it's I don't know, things like that.
It's taking advantage of a charity opportunity to sell more stuff. And I fucking hate that sort of shit, man. That's like infuriates me.
Which it just makes me think that like they got told they have to do Movember, and instead of just doing November like we've always done it, and just they've like, oh, I'm going to be big brain and start selling lawnmowers, and people are going to think I'm fantastic for it, and I'll get a promotion because we're going to sell so many lawn. I'm like, just fucking do Movember. God,
just do it.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's like I have in my many years of working and wearing a lot of different hats, as I'd put it. Right, at one point I was involved with the marketing branch at a national level because the national marketing people were two people between the hundreds of stores. The two people, and they were out of touch. They didn't know about the internet, basically. And
what?
Well,
When was this? Fucking 13, 12?
No, it was like 5 years ago. But they relied on print media, so like catalogs and newspapers and billboards and posters and all that sort of stuff. I'm like, there's literally like there's a billboard it's sitting on top of a 10-story high building. It's tiny. You drive past it, but if you want your ad to be on there, and it's digital, you want your ad to be on there for a minute every hour, it costs $10,000 a month. All right. I said to them, for $10,000 a month, I could pump $10,000 into Facebook ads, and it'll get seen by 3 million people a month for the same price, right?
35.
Instead of people that aren't even looking because they look at their eyes on the fucking road and they're swearing at traffic. It's not. It's like it's so different. But there's billboards that are $500,000 a month, and they're like, oh, it's at a train station. There's 1 million people go through it. Like, yeah, but
people that take the train can't afford what you're selling.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, it's true, but it's so we sat in on all this electronic marketing stuff, and a lot of it was like the stuff I was telling them. They're like, I've never heard of that before, blah blah blah. And then I remember that there's this guy that was in Sydney, and he broke off and did his own thing, and then he was using this firm who does electronic advertising, basically marketing, everything. They handle everything. You just pay them money, they make it work. That's the deal, yeah. So we hired him for a month, and in that month, it was everywhere. Like, I couldn't get away from it. It was on Facebook, it was on Instagram, it was Twitter, everywhere. It was just ads popping up. There was products getting recommended. We were selling shit left, right, and center, blah, blah, blah. It costed us probably $8,000 for a month. And then we're like, okay, well, that was a good month, but we can't really spring for the $8,000 every month. And they're like, oh, that's cool. Let us know if you ever want to do it again, whatever. And then at the end of that month, it was like a tap turned off. All the customers went away, all the sales went away, everything just disappeared as soon as we stopped paying them. I'm like, I guess they actually do something, because when they're not here, nothing happens. And then, my boss goes, and it's a true story, my boss goes, and more independent, so he owned the company and everything. Ooh, a smaller part of the group, franchise, if you like. And he goes, oh, I've got an alternative. They're only $2,000 a month. I'm like, okay. And he's like, I want you to sit in on it, though, because you know what they're talking about. I'm like, okay, what's the deal? And they're like, Well, they primarily focus on Instagram. They'll run our Instagram, but they guarantee what it. I think they said 30,000 impressions a month. I'm like, impressions mean that people saw it. Doesn't necessarily mean that they read it or clicked on it or care. And he's like, 30,000 is pretty good though. I'm like, it's not really. Anyway, gets this meeting, and I swear it was like 4. I'm gonna say like 4 models turned up, but they may as well be like the equivalent of like your Instagram models these days, right? And they sat down in his room, and they're like, oh yeah, definitely. And there's it was like $2,500 a month, and I said, okay, so what do we get from that? So he goes, well, you guys take the photos, and then you send them to us, and then we'll post them, and then we'll track them and make sure that it'll work for you, and we'll give you back your analytics and stuff like that. I'm like, but the app does that. Like once I've taken the picture, I just got to post it via the app. So what do you guys actually do? Nothing.
Cool, basically.
They do fuck all. They just go, then not only that, they had hundreds of customers where they provide them the content. All they did was upload them and take $2,500 a my Yeah, and I'm just like, what the
it's
fuck?
Pretty scummy. It's pretty scummy.
At the end of the day, and what I said to him was that no one fucking knows what this shit costs. That's the problem. Like, no one can go, oh, this is what an ad costs, you know, and this is how much you'll get back for it. So then these people were just smart. They just gone around with a real, you know, they're like, obviously they're successful because they're super attractive people, and there's all these, you know, thirsty men clicking on all their profiles, and they're getting all sorts of likes. But then they present that as hard work and go, this is what I do. I can do this for you for X amount of money, and they'll cash it in. Like, hell yeah.
We're in the wrong fucking game. Jesus Christ.
Well, I'm ugly and I have to shave my goatee, so... That's what happens.
Yeah, you do. And yeah, you are.
Wow. Shelby, you going to back me up at all?
I think you're very handsome.
You're the one who called me ugly.
No, I didn't.
No, it started with you.
I didn't call you ugly.
Do you remember what you said?
No, I'm tired.
You called him ugly?
Wow.
No, I didn't.
Speaking of influencers, though, I saw today, I woke up and I was looking at the news and stuff, and I saw the greatest headline that says, teen bikini shoot ends in disaster. And I'm like, this will be good, right? Someone's gonna die or something, right? So basically, it's great. I'll share the picture. If you haven't seen it, you can look it up. But it's basically there was these girls that were at the beach in the water in their bikinis, taking nice pictures, you know, doing their thing, ready for Instagram, whatever else. And then a fucking shark goes through them.
Oh my God.
And in the photo, you could just see her go, what the? And there's this shark fin as it goes past.
So how deep were they in the water?
Not that deep. Like, she's standing up. She's like waist deep.
Yeah.
You can get sharks pretty shallow.
Close,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if
the bad ones don't go that close. Only like nursing sharks.
Correct. Yeah. As far as we know, if Shark Week's taught me anything, we don't know enough about sharks because we keep learning shit. That's like, we haven't closed the books on sharks and said, well, all right, we know everything now.
Yeah.
It's always like, up until recently, we thought that the sharks would only travel in these waters, but you know, today we found one going up this river.
Why is it no like Australians like in this sort of stuff? Like when you always think like documentaries talking about animals and stuff, it's not Aussies at all. It's always like some British or like an American.
Is it just that we've accepted that our wildlife's fucked, so we sort of just get used to it? So like when
for us it's a Tuesday, for them it's interesting.
Yeah, for them it's news. For us it's like, hey, that bloody shark mate got a bit close.
Like, shit's fuck cunt. What the fuck? Yeah, bloody bitey one, isn't he? Oh.
I always take it back to the guy who got bit on the penis by a redback spider.
Oof.
That's like that was news.
God, yeah.
But, Gravy, do you know what the best bit about this story or about this topic is? The guy who got bit on the penis by a redback spider.
I've never heard this.
You've never heard this?
I've never heard it. No.
So basically, he was. I'm pretty sure he was at a job site, and there was like a portaloo there, and he went and sat down, and like, you know, there was just a redback spider under the rim, and they got him on the penis, and apparently it hurt like hell, and he went to the hospital and everything else. But that headline was enough for him to go around and do a news circuit with the breakfast shows and stuff like that, and tell his story, but how he's fine and, you know, he's all looked after, whatever else. And then a couple months later, he did it again.
No. And it turns out this is his fetish. And it turns out this isn't. He fucking does it so he gets swollen and looks like a normal sized penis. That's what happens.
Well, he's just like, the fame is like going away. It's been a while since I had my penis bitten by a redback spider. So what he did, he goes and just like sticks his dick under a rock and gets bitten again, just on purpose, so he gets fame again.
When people were like, "Oh, what a crazy news story," and then like 2 weeks later, it's literally spider bites Australian man on penis again. It's like again. It happened twice to the one person. Oh my god!
It's that saying goes like, if it bites you and you die, it's poisonous.
Bite it back.
You bite it.
Redbacks are super poisonous.
Yeah, they're super poisonous.
Super poisonous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like now and again, like as an adult, you get bit by one. It's like you only get like a mild headache now and again. Like kids, it's really dangerous. For adults, it's not that bad.
From a redback?
Yeah, from a redback.
I don't know about that.
Was that someone else?
I don't know. As a kid, I got bitten by we think it was a whitetail.
Yeah,
and it knocked me for 6. Like I felt like I was like on death's door for like 3 days, and I thought I was just having like a really bad flu, but then it got like really bad, and then I went to the doctor and they found a mark on me, and they're like, "Well, that's a bite of some sort, so you probably got bitten by a spider or something." I'm like, "Can you do anything about it?" They're like, "Nah, you should have come to the doctor when you should have." Days ago. He's like, you just fucking live with it now, basically.
Yeah.
But it's like where I grew up, spiders fucking everywhere. They're just everywhere. You just live with them. And like I know, because my sister still lives at home, and she streams late, like starts at midnight and whatever. But because of that, if you can imagine a house in the middle of nowhere, like it's in the middle of the bush, right? There's one room that's just full of light and warmth. In the rest, everything else is turned off, and the spiders just gravitate to a stream, man. They just come in under the door, a couple of huntsmans or whatever else. So she's just always dealing with bugs. And then when I go up there, I'm like, I never see them because I'm usually asleep, and they're just crawling on me while I'm sleeping, Anyway, you want to come to Australia, Gravy? You like spiders, right?
Suddenly, I don't want to. Suddenly, I don't want to meet your parents and go up there. Let's just.
It's just the facts of life. There's wildlife and spiders and stuff up there. It's just bugs. Mosquitoes.
I'm sleeping in a mosquito net.
I won't save you. It's just how I grew up. There's just spiders and shit everywhere. We just deal with it. They're not.
So,
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I think the big thing is like I've said this before as a joke, but I do actually believe it. Like, people say the Australian outback as if all of Australia isn't fucking outback. If you put it into perspective.
Yeah,
right? Because it's like, yeah, well, here's the thing, it's not, but where your cities now stand, the only reason it's not desert is because you built them up.
Well, right? to a point, because we talked about this.
Like up here.
We talked about this on the podcast because most of the population in Australia lives on the coast, like next to water, for a reason, because the desert is fucking harsh.
Yeah, but like Gravy, you're also wrong because we have massive areas that are national forests and are woodlands. They're not. Even if we weren't there. No, even if we weren't here, those areas still wouldn't be bush.
Yeah.
Also,
what's that equator thing called? The Mediterranean or the
equator?
You know what? One of the
equator?
No, not the actual one. There's like two other ones. There's like a winter one and the tropical.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, we go through that. So if you start going up to Queensland, that goes inland into like.
If you think there's weird wildlife in the desert parts of Australia, you get up from the tropics.
It goes 10 times.
Yeah, it's like
it's. I mean, you look at like snakes will come up the toilet and bite your ass.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that's where the reptiles are.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say was with the other thing with Australian outback Gravy is, and to the point, the way that Australia kind of works, particularly with a lot of the Australian natives and stuff like that. They are designed to grow and burn and then grow again. Like they require fire to germinate. So they have the bushfires and stuff like a natural. So if no one was here, the land would build up, overgrow, burn down, then grow back up again, then burn back down again. Now that we've got houses in amongst all these forests and woodlands and whatever, they burn down again.
The first person that came to Australia to and saw that the natives and stuff like that, and they obviously would have seen it naturally just fucking set alight.
Well, not only that,
this looks like a good place to fucking populate.
Well, the natives, it was within the Aboriginal culture to control, actually know that like we need to burn these lands, and they would do it like as a ritual almost.
Yeah, they
do the
had
control
ways of making crops from like different burnt.
Yeah, and then we just went and sold it to whoever had money, and then they put up a fucking house and a swimming pool there, and then hope it doesn't burn down like everything else around it needs to. So it's
Darwin at his finest,
pretty much. But yeah, Australia's fucked. And look, it's the one thing I'll say, Gravy, and I want to just be perfectly clear here, right? Where I grew up, in particular, it is classified as desert, and there's every bug, spider, snake, whatever you can think of is there, including all the deadly ones. Every house will have like flywire on their fucking screens and screen doors on their doors and doors that actually close, Gravy. And
shut the fuck up.
Then it's because if you leave the fucking door open, 12,000 flies come in, and you have to deal with that shit. Where I'm in Melbourne right now, with fucking doors open, windows open, everything. There's no fucking bugs coming in here. Maybe one fly a week.
In Melbourne?
Nah, not a problem. It's not a problem.
If a fly comes in, that's Chip's like favorite.
We don't have like if we get a mosquito, it's a mosquito. Where we literally, like at my parents' place, and this is true, right? My old man, he had a bug zapper, right, that he'd have to put up whenever we were outside, and basically that attracts and kills as many bugs as possible. But not only that, it like broke, so he kind of just did like a hobby job fixing it. So every time that a bug got zapped, it was a significant zap. Like it would like almost dim the lights kind of thing. And like as a Christmas gift thing a few years ago, and I was selling them as well. They were kind of the rage, particularly up in the country. Is you can get tennis rackets that you put batteries in, and it makes the racket face of it electric, so you can swing it and zap all the fucking flies. Man, you just wave that thing around at home, and it's just like constantly going crazy.
we got those.
But it's just what it is. It's, you know, you learn to deal with it, and you do. Like I remember, because like I said, I grew up like at Shelby. I'm not trying to talk you out of it, but like I grew up, the ceiling would be covered in spider webs because there'd just be spiders in the ceiling all the time.
Saying you're not trying to talk me out of it, but you're talking me out of it.
Yeah. Anyway, but that's just how I grew up. That was life, right? Then I got a job at a hardware store, and I learned about pest control. And I'm like, bruh, there's chemicals that'll kill everything. Give me like a 6-pack. Let's go. And I remember I went home and I covered my house in all these different pest products. I'm like, I'm going to kill the spiders, going to kill the mice, I'm going to kill the fucking rats, I'm going to kill the ants.
That's why you like he's an orphan.
I'm going to kill it. And I covered the entire house and all the shit, outside the house mainly, like around it and the eaves and that. The next day, I had to get a broom out for all the carcasses. I murdered it all. And it's just like, it was so satisfying to kill so many spiders and shit.
It's so satisfying to be an insect
because people
murderer.
Well, you know, like you know how people are like, oh, you gotta look after, it's an ecosystem and you need bugs, blah blah blah. I'm talking about you'd come home and you'd turn on like your high beams on your car and you'd see 1,000 spider webs with spiders in it between you and the house, and like, there's enough. Like we could go with half of these. They could go, you know. We don't need them. But in all seriousness, with age and like learning, because I did work with a lot of people that actually know a lot of shit. It's like, hey, if you plant these particular herbs or these things, they're a natural defense and all that sort of stuff. And got Dad a bigger bug zapper, and just, you know, things like that. And it's not so bad now. But certainly when I was growing up, it was just like fucking spiders, man.
My first year in Australia sucked so much fucking dick. I swear I hated it. And I remember when like we found a place like that was on the bottom floor of like, because everything's built up in most places in Sydney. You don't. Yeah. You've got the ground floor, and like apparently that's a bad idea. Like to ever try and like, we thought it was great. We're like, yeah, we don't have to climb stairs to move this shit in. We'll get the bottom floor, blah blah blah. And then ants and cockroaches. And, like fucking like, every day we left like a plate out.
Yeah.
For, like, and it's 3 guys, 20 to 25 years old. Like the place was just shit fire. And then one day there was like, I followed a trail of ants through the whole house, and it went out into the garden, and then went back around. It climbed over a fence and shit. And so I was like, fuck this. We bought that ant rid stuff.
Yeah.
And it attracts them. It attracts them. And then literally as soon as I put it down, there was 20 times, 50 times more ants, and I was like, "This is fucked." Like I thought, like,
bro, don't get me started on that.
Oh my god,
don't get me started on that.
They all fucking died, and I had to get the broom out to fucking sweep up like the carcasses, and I feel like a whole like, you know, you got the broom and the dustpan and brush.
Yeah.
It was full, like actually full of ants, and I'm like, this is fucked. Australia's fucking fucked.
You're not an Australian until you've mass murdered insects. That's what I'm learning. But it's I know that, like, because I live in inner city Melbourne. Like I'm like right next to the MCG, and you know I'm in the heart of it. But there's also what they call the green belt, which is like a belt that of like parkland, bushland, if you like, goes around quite inner city, and it's along the river and whatever else here. And we're very close to that, so it's like we're not in the middle of towering towers. It's all still green and nice, and you know, kind of quiet when the neighbors aren't yelling at each other. And but part of that, and like I never thought about that, but they're like, well, wildlife lives in there, and what they do is they'll come out because there's food and rubbish and everything else, and we're talking rats, mice, and the one that I didn't really think about was foxes. It's like the sheer amount of foxes that are here. And I remember I was at a bar and I was talking to this guy who was a train driver, and he's like, yeah, when you do the late shifts going along the train lines, you just see foxes everywhere, like just heaps of them. Foxes and wild dogs.
I didn't know foxes were in Australia.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, foxes are bad because they go after your livestock. Yeah. And like we always had fox problems at my house. They used to come up and eat our chickens. Like I think we lost like 10 chickens in a week once because it got really bad. And we've got galahs as well, and they used to go absolutely ape shit whenever like a snake or a fox or anything out there. I remember.
Don't you guys have fucking spiders that like eat birds or some shit ridiculous like that?
Blue orbs, golden weave spiders.
Jesus.
Yeah, but they're a bit further north.
They're Queensland.
Yeah, they're the tropic thing we're talking about. So anyway, foxes got to the point where they were so bad because they were harassing sheep and livestock and stuff like that. And my old man, he's a shooter. He's a gunman. He used to whistle and hunt foxes. He used to do duck shooting as well back a long time ago as a sport. But anyway, so he taught us how to whistle foxes and stuff. So it's like there's a little whistle thing you put in your mouth, and you can make a call, and it'll call the foxes up. And there's a whole thing to it. Like you got to check which way the wind's going, all that sort of stuff. And anyway,
you know what the fox says is what you're trying to tell us.
Yeah, it makes a whistle. Anyway,
fox noise. Their noise is fucked. Sometimes it's like, that's a fox noise.
Yeah, that's pretty close. You're not wrong.
Yeah, that's their noise.
So anyway, me and my brother are like, we're gonna go whistle up some foxes, so then we can prove that we can do it, and then because we just learned how to do it. So we went down and we did the whole thing where we knew roughly where they'd like get onto the land and whatever. And we whistled them up, and we're sitting up this tree, whistling, nothing happened. I'm like, oh, fuck this, I'm going home. And my brother's like, no, we'll get it. He's sitting there and he's whistling. And he said he was whistling for ages, like, fuck this, I'm going home. Gets down out of the tree, there's this fucking tiny little baby fox at his feet. He's like, I don't know how long he was there. And he's like, it was too fucking cute to do anything about it. I just left. But he's like, the fox snuck up on him. He's like, what are you doing, dickhead? But anyway, it got so bad, particularly in some states. I don't know what it's like now, but they were actually offering $10 a tail for foxes and get basically marked it as open season to go hunt as many foxes as you could. Which, great for the hunters, give them something to do, could do something good for the farmers and whatever else. Until, because there's always one dickhead who ruins it for everyone, right? Because they'd go and they'd hunt them and they'd hand them into the government, bloody Department of Natural Resources or whatever it is. And then someone broke into the Department of Natural Resources and stole all the tails to try and sell them back to them.
Christ.
I bet he thought it was...
Honestly, he thought it was smart. That's like somebody that decides to like make car tires, and he just gets somebody to run around with a fucking flick knife cutting everybody's tires around his area.
I know someone like that. I remember. Is that not? That's an English thing, though. I swear.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is.
Oh, it's definitely
a fucking English thing. Slashing people's tires is such an English thing.
Yeah, or like leaving them on bricks.
Yeah. I don't really know if I should say this, but fuck it. So while I was in high school, I wasn't the most well behaved of kids, and I'm pretty sure I've told this story before. But
aren't you still in high school?
Yeah, you're still like you're 12, aren't you?
Anyway, continue.
15 actually. Bro, you know what's funny? I'm actually going back to school in fucking October.
High school?
Yeah, high school. I'm getting my high school pass finally.
Hey, good work.
But yeah, moving on. Fucking what's the guy below the headmaster called in English?
Sub headmaster.
Yeah, I guess.
Vice
headmaster.
Yeah, vice headmaster. There you go, vice headmaster. Our vice headmaster, which was also a physics teacher, so he had a lot of he knew a lot of students personally. Nobody fucking liked him, like at all. Everybody thought he was the biggest fucking knob, and he drove a Fiat Multiplier. I don't know if you guys know what that looks like.
Yeah.
But it's basically the Italian mum van. Basically, it's the ultimate Italian mum van, and so we used to have break from 10 to 11 till 11:05, so 15 minutes. And somehow a group of students in that 15-minute window, they somehow managed to nick all 4 of his tires, like all 4 of his fucking wheels, and they just left his car there.
I remember on our last day of school,
and
we turned the headmaster's car upside down.
Jesus
But they were like, they're light.
Was that in England?
The Ford Fiestas, you could literally have 3 people pick them up.
Yeah.
Like...
For sure.
I remember it's
and
it's kind of connected to the, but like when I was in high school and we had a metals class, it was like there's a certain demographic of people that want to do metals.
Wait, a metals class?
Yeah, so metals, welding, building, construction, manufacturing.
Yeah,
metals.
Did you not have that?
The school that I went to used to be a technical college. So it was like
Italy is fucked.
It was used to be an all guys technical college, so it had full setup for woodworking, welding, everything to put people out and get apprenticeships and shit like that. So and then it got eventually got turned into just a normal school, but it still had all the facilities. So we had metals, and only troublemakers want to do metals. And it was all the worst troublemakers in my entire year level wanted to do metals. And on the day one, they welded all the chairs to the ground. And then started welding tables together.
Fuck yeah.
And then one of the welders caught fire, and we had to evacuate the school. And
Christ,
they cancelled metals. They said no, you don't get to do metals anymore. And then they gave us. They said then they're like, you'll be doing a new class, blah blah blah. You turn up here on Monday, blah blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. Turns out he's got this fucking senior citizen who's got to teach us horticulture instead. No choice. Like you just metals doesn't exist anymore. You get horticulture. You know, and they're like, what could go wrong with? They literally put us out in this giant cage with a plot of land and to go grow stuff basically. And we had this senior citizen who taught me about bushfires and germination and stuff like that because she let us light that bitch on fire. She's like, it's only going to be a small fire. It'll be fine. Of course, we just lit that whole yard on fire.
Jesus Christ.
So it was like we had the fire brigade two times in 2 weeks to come out to the house.
Didn't you end up being like the best in that class? Like you got ducks in
horticulture? I did ducks that class. Smartest man in horticulture. Thank you. So the thing was, right, she let us lit the school on fire and she was cool with it. She let us do whatever the fuck we wanted. She's like, I'll teach you what you want to know. If you don't want to learn, you can just play in the dirt in the cage for an hour a day. It's fine. And I remember that there were a couple of guys stole the janitor's. He had like a little ute, like a tiny, and I was doing doughies on the lawn, and she's just like, kids, it's fine, whatever.
Boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys. So I ended up learning a lot because it was actually quite good. She taught me. So her whole thing was it was horticulture. It wasn't agriculture. It was another class for that. And she taught me how to do hydroponics. Like if you want me to set up a hydroponic system, I can definitely do that. Yeah. So it was actually a really good class. But I just remember that there was like 5 kids hanging off this tiny little fucking ute thing, and I was just basically trying to roll it out in the footy field, and she was just sitting there telling us about growing herbs and stuff. It was wild.
You mentioning trying to get this thing to roll just gave me a flashback as a kid, teenager, where school bus was a double decker.
No.
Always this one corner that they came up to. It was like a really hard turn from a highway onto a main road where everyone would just run and rock the side.
What would you do if that worked?
One day it worked. Right? And this guy, his name was Michael Connolly. He fell out the window before it crashed on its side. And everyone was so jealous because he got an extra 2 days to complete his GCSEs.
What?
But he didn't know. He forgot my name. But I was still like, "You're a fucking cunt. You got an extra 2 days on your GCSEs." And unfortunately, I think he has serious brain damage. But yeah, it was funny. Yeah. Yeah.
Only 2 days. Serious brain damage. What the fuck?
I would have thought that a double-decker bus falling over is a big deal, though. Wouldn't that caused a lot of damage and injure a lot of people?
Well, no, it didn't. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad because the way it does fall off the motorway and the thing, it wasn't really that bad. I remember it was kind of just a big crash. Over. But he was fucked. He got fucked up, and no one else really did. Because I think the only reason he got fucked up because he was at the emergency exit side.
Oh my god!
The top floor, and he was the one ramming that one. So when we were all fucking trying to push it over, he rammed into that one. And he went out, had a massive fall, and the rest of us kind of went bang, and we're just like, oh. And then everyone's like, is Michael okay? Because he literally went head first out the window before he fell over. And yeah.
So did the bus land on him, or?
No, he flew out before the bus tilted off.
So it drove a little bit more than fell.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
I imagine he fell out of the bus and then the bus just fucking slammed down on him.
On him. Fucking, and he became inside out boy. Fucking.
I've been watching The Office again, just as a sort of a background.
The UK one or
the American one.
75th time.
Right? No, I haven't watched it that many times. Anyway, there was a scene and they were talking about doing their safety briefings, and they're in the warehouse and they're like, this forklift is dangerous and you need a license. And then obviously Michael Scott's like, but I can drive it. And they're like, no, not you. You can't drive it. He's like, but I can. And he's like, no, but you can't. It just reminds me of we used to have the same argument with these guys that just refused to get their license. But they're like, but I know how to drive it. What do I need the license for? And no, you need to know how to drive the forklift. You need the bit of paper that says that you're qualified, you understand it, all that sort of stuff. They would drive it all the time. And I was a kid. I didn't fucking know anything. I didn't want to touch it.
It's not complicated. Forklifts. I've driven a forklift before.
I've got my license. Yeah,
but it's fucked.
Yeah. So anyway,
if you mess up driving a forklift, you just fucking.
So
you can really hurt someone.
I remember that they came down because I've fully trained in everything that could go wrong with a forklift, including first responder, all that shit. Right. Anyway, so one of the things
impaling somebody.
Well, there was this guy that came in. Is everyone must be wearing their seatbelts on the forklift. No excuse. Doesn't matter how long you're on there for. You're on there to do a fucking fart. You get on there. You cut belt in. You fart. You have belt off. Get off. He's like, no excuse. Has to be that way. And then they're like, why? What happened? They're like, there's an incident that happened at a different warehouse. Guy wasn't wearing his forklift. Wasn't wearing his belt. He was lifting a large load, and the forklift started to tilt like it was going to fall. So he fucking bailed out of there, and he just jumped out of the forklift, and the forklift landed on him.
Ooh.
And now he can't walk. But if he left his belt on, he would have just leaned on his side.
Yeah, which is not as bad as
you literally would just be sitting on your chair sideways.
Sideways, yeah.
But instead, he jumped off, and the cage pinned him. It's the simplest task that they explain to him, and they just don't do it because they're lazy. And then, this guy is definitely, And I've seen a fair few, too many incidents with forklifts to count. Some where people have gone, whoo, that was close, and others where people have gone, well, I have 3 fingers now. So,
so we're also talking about safety and shop class and things like that at school. I almost lost my finger at school doing woodwork. So I was in the woodworking class, and I was belt sanding a very small piece of wood. And like, you know, is it called the belt sander, the one that's on the desk and you're like on the table and you're using it rather than using it on the wood?
It's just sure.
Hold on, is it a sander or is it a table saw?
No, a sander.
It's a sander. Anyway, okay, so I'm like sanding this small piece of wood, and then my thumb slips and it pivots forward, and then my thumb is against the belt, and I shaved off my nail bed.
A lot of people have done that.
Yeah, I shaved it all off with the sander in like a split second. I pull my thumb up, it's like covered in blood, there's like no nail left, and then I had to go get it treated. Thankfully it grew back. Like, I wasn't expecting it to grow back. I always thought I'd be a bit disfigured.
I mean, we talked about how I lost my toenail. It took a few years to come back properly.
Yeah.
I accidentally drilled through my hand.
Oh!
What?
Yeah, like not completely through it, but basically like in between your thumb and your index, you know how there's that bit of like emptiness, right?
Yeah, the webbing.
Drilled like
the webbing.
Yeah, I drilled like halfway into that, like put a hole in it, and it was the most painful shit ever.
I had a guy once. I don't want to turn this into a story. I just remembered the dumbest guy I've ever met. Right, it was me and my mate were working. It was a Sunday. Guy came in with a nail gun. He's like, I need more nails for this. And I'm like, cool. Do you know what size were you after? And then he just fired one off into his hand, but it went into his hand. I'm like, why? Why? Why?
Why are people like this?
Like, I thought he must have just, in his brain, he must have thought he'd just like shoot it out and it'll land in his hand, but it went straight through. I'm like, why?
Jesus Christ.
I just remember, because I was only a kid, but the guy was my mate who was my supervisor. It was just like, oh my God, okay, all right, well, let's get you off to a hospital. Get this fixed up. It's like, goddamn. But I had in wood class, my wood teacher used to shake his head at me constantly because I was an embarrassment and a disappointment, and he was just sad that I existed. And everything I did was wrong in wood class. Everything I did looked like it had come from like some prep school guy with one arm had built it. I built a dog kennel that was too big to get out of the room in wood class, so that we had to pull it apart. So it wasn't a dog kennel anymore; it was just a pile of timber. But I remember once I was like cutting something and the breaker went, like the circuit breaker. So I'm like, So I just left the circular saw like where it stopped, went out to the back room, put the breaker back on, saw still locked in the on position, just start sawing shit up and going around. It ended up cutting its own cord and tripping the breaker again before it got anyone. But it's pretty wild. But yeah, anyway, my wood teacher, he'd just shake his head at me every day. He'd be like, "What are you even doing here?" And the irony was that like that was what it was, and I don't know why, but I had the opportunity to like take the class again, like do it twice. So instead of doing half a year, I did a full year. So I came back again, and he was just like, "Why, man? Why? It's not working. You're not getting anything.
Why are you doing this to me?"
He ended up giving me a certificate for effort because I was trying at least. But the funny thing was that like after all that, towards the end of the year, he had to come into my work to order his timber, and they're like, "Oh yeah, go see old mate in the back. He'll sort you out with your timber. He knows what's going on." So then my teacher came up, and I was old mate, and he's like, "You got to be shitting me," and I'm like, "No, I know what I'm doing. I'm just not very good at it."
Yeah. You know,
wow.
I really want to try and think of like some wild school stories because some hectic shit happened at my school. We literally used to have fights every other day, basically, like big ass fucking fights.
All boys school was yours?
So many of us. It wasn't an all boys school, but there was a lot more boys than there were girls. Like 90% of us were boys.
All boys school for me. Daily as well.
But yeah, we used to have fucking every like because so many people in my school did drugs. That probably explains a lot about me. Because so many people in my school did fucking drugs, every like 3 weeks to a month, we'd have cops come in with dogs.
Oh my God. Really?
Yeah,
no, that's normal.
It would happen 100%. In Europe. That's perfectly. I don't know, like the rest of Europe, but like down here, we literally have like cops come in with dogs like every so often to check everything, and it was pretty funny because the amount of times like people have come so close to getting busted is unreal, because it's not like, you'd have a couple of kids smoking some weed in the playground or whatever the fuck, like in the back of the school or whatever. Like you'd have people high on fucking MD in my school. It was that fucking wild. But like so much of it is like you just sit there and you're like, what the fuck just happened? Because as I've said, they literally used to be a fight every other day, because it was just the kind of people that would go to that school is people that just can't be fucked with school.
Yeah.
I think the wildest shit that I can remember, like off the top of my head right now, because I can't remember a lot, because all high school was for me was wake up, smoke, get on the bus, get to school, smoke, sleep for 2.5 hours until break, smoke again during break, smoke until all my lessons were over, and go home. I literally didn't pay attention to school for like 2 years straight. But the wildest shit that I can remember, like off the top of my head, was we had this kid, like I'm not sure if he was autistic or he had he had something, right? He had learning difficulties, and he was like, I don't know what he had specifically, but he wasn't really with it.
Yeah.
And he got the living shit bullied out of him, but he was a big fucking guy. Like he was like 1.90 m and a cup, like probably 150 kilos. Like he was pretty fucking big. And I just remember I'm sat there at 8:30 in the fucking morning getting coffee at the vending machine, and I just hear a loud ass fucking slam behind me, and it turns out this bigger kid that was getting bullied, he just picked this fucking guy up and put him through a fucking table. Like a full-on WWE table, just put him through it.
Oh my god!
We had a bunch of those. Like, it was wild.
We didn't have a lot of fights, but we there was enough. But most people sort of got along. There was always the few outsiders that were a bit, weird.
Yeah.
But I remember I got into this massive fight once. This guy was just being an absolute cockroach, and he wouldn't leave me alone. And he's like, "You want to fucking fight about it?" I said, "I'll deck you, mate. You'll be on the floor." And anyway, he tried to I remember we're outside. I was like year 7 or something like that. And he was like trying to throw punches, but it was.
I don't know how years work over there. What's year 7? Year 7. 15, 16,
no.
12,
14,
12, 13, around there.
Fucking hell.
Anyway, when I was 13, I was nearly 6 foot. Anyway, I was a big boy.
Yeah, I'm a short cunt.
So this kid, he's like crowd growers. They all like fight, come on, fucking fight, get into it. And this guy's like, I'm gonna fucking beat you up. I can't remember what it was about. He's like doing karate shit, something like he's like throwing punches or something like that. So anyway, I just picked him up and threw him on the ground. Like I just lifted him up off the ground by the back of his by the scruff of his shirt, and I just slammed him in the ground. And then as he went to get back up, I just picked him up again and slammed him down again, just to stay down. And he's like, and I remember that like the third time, I ripped his shirt. I hit him so hard on the ground with it, and I just winded him. And then he couldn't move after that. He was done. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Like he thought it was gonna be some karate thing where we were gonna be like punching and blocking and shit and boxing. I don't.
No.
Real fights, man. It's just whoever gets the other one on the ground the fastest. That's not
always try to be the first one to throw the punch. That is literally the best thing. If you get in a fight, punch them fucking first. That's what my
Because here's the thing. The thing I always say is I've been in a fair amount of fights myself. I never say how many fights I actually came out feeling okay after. I've had my times where I've had the ever living shit beaten out of me, right? And I'll be honest, when I was a couple of years ago, I've said this a bajillion times, I used to do free running, right? So I've had my fair share of really bad falls, and getting knocked out, getting punched in the fucking face and zoning out for a couple of seconds and then getting up from the ground and being like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
It's just such a unique, saying unique makes it sound good, but it's such a unique, type of pain.
Yeah,
it really takes you a minute to sink in and realize what the fuck just happened.
I was listening to a podcast the other day, and I was talking about getting a mild concussion from the shit like that.
Yeah,
where they would be in one spot, and then the next thing they know, they're somewhere else. And they're like, what the fuck just happened? Because they got knocked the fuck out, and even though they might have been walking around and breathing and whatever, they just weren't with it and then when they sort of snap back, they're like, how the hell did I get here? What and that's why Meech's point, if it's fight or flight and you have to fight, sock them.
Punch and post.
Yeah, true.
Don't, you know.
I mean, yeah, if you can't avoid it, you know, you might as well just.
Yeah, and look, there's no, and look, people might have differing opinions, but there's no pride. Punch them in the face, knee them in the balls, and then kick them while they're down.
Yeah,
it's just like
it's that simple. It really is that.
It
simple.
really is, and like self-defense teaches that all the time. You know, it's like if you got an opportunity to knee them in the nuts, like they'll drop like a sack of potatoes. It's hey, there's no man that goes, that didn't hurt.
It's weird because we had a lot of fights, but the worst thing we had were people letting off fireworks. That's what we had. Like, because fireworks were so easy to get, like from pikeys and backstreet boots.
I don't think we can call them pikeys on the podcast.
You cannot? What? Like pikeys, gypsies, right? Irish gypsies.
I don't even know. What that
Are you
is.
sure?
I thought you said bikies.
It's a word.
Like,
no, pikey.
A pikey.
I don't know what a pikey
is. You see, I don't know if it's.
He means no offense by it. It's fine.
No, it's not offensive. Before that's what they were. They traveling Irish.
Gypsy. Yeah, a
gypsy. Okay.
And we would literally just let them off down corridors at our school, like literal explosives going off in our school. That pretty much, I think there was 1 year people were getting actual PTSD from it. If you
Didn't you move to Australia because your house burned down?
Yeah, but it did. Yeah.
I'm noticing a pattern.
Yeah, so you could.
Yeah, it's not like
I was involved in the. Yeah,
you know how. Yeah, don't incriminate yourself too.
But yeah, fireworks are so easy to get
compared to Australia. It's like illegal everywhere except for ACT, I think. That's it. And Darwin for like 2 days a year. But having said that, I definitely let off fireworks at school.
You did?
Oh, yeah. All the fucking time, yeah.
Yeah, no. I knew a guy who knew a guy.
Fireworks are so easy to get down here. I'm not even kidding you. I can literally walk to the shop.
You can't. It's totally illegal in Australia. You have to have a license.
To get them in Australia is literally like someone saying they found hen's teeth.
Because, I knew a guy who knew a guy who had a guy that could get me fireworks.
And he wasn't a pike.
I think
no, he was. He was a bogan with a shipping container that got lost. if that makes sense. He doesn't do it anymore. That's fine. No one ever got hurt or anything. We just messed around fireworks a lot. It was great. I fucking loved it. It was almost like a family thing. You know, the extended family get around. We'll let off fireworks. Whatever else.
What the fuck do you guys do at New Year's if fireworks are illegal?
People with a license do it. No. People have a license to do it.
It's also like they're banned because of bushfires.
Yeah,
we discussed it earlier. Australia was just
catching fire. That is like, I remember when half of Australia was burning down, and everyone's going, "Don't have the fireworks this year."
Oh, the one in Sydney.
ScoMo was like, "Nah. We need it for the spirit," and there's like
fuck off, ScoMo.
Fireman died literally a day before, and he's just like, "Yeah, we'll honor him by blasting fucking explosions."
Yeah, I was gonna say this is ScoMo. I mean, he just happens to leave and go to like Hawaii in the bushfires, or he left the country and then there was an earthquake. So
it's like, don't go out on events, guys. It's really important. Everyone stay in your homes and do this thing. Next minute. Where's the cricket, guys? Let's all go to the cricket.
Literally, I was sitting here thinking about this the other day, and I was getting fucking angry about it, and I don't know why. Like, it was just a normal day, and I thought to myself, fucking ScoMo and his fucking fireworks. What a fucking asshole. Because I'm like, it's not... First of all, like, we've been in lockdown nearly fucking 2 years now, right? And it's like, let's have fireworks, but no one go and look at it, because you got to stay home. We don't want people to get sick or whatever. Stay home. Don't do this, do that. $6.5 million worth of fireworks they spent for 20 minutes of burning colour.
And the same year, they reduced the number of people they allocated in the fire brigade services. They reduced all the money.
This is what pisses me off. Yes. Yeah. Just go, hey, you know what? Do you think there's anyone in Australia that would disagree if ScoMo said, we're not doing fireworks this year, we're giving $6 million to the CFA?
Yeah, fuck yeah. I know people that would, but they're absolutely fucking dickheads. They're the same people. They're the ones that fucking went on protest in Melbourne and trashed a fucking war memorial. They're the same fucking people that are going, I want fucking freedom, and then fucking graffiti over the people that fought for it 60, 70 years ago.
I want to touch on this, like, the war memorial thing, because in World War One, the Spanish influenza was going nuts. Yeah. And all the people who, that memorial is dedicated to, all had to get vaccines. There was mandatory vaccines to fight the Spanish flu, and they went with it to protect people. But these fucking, I'm not going to get the vaccine because it's blah, blah, blah. I was fucking like having a party on these guys' memorial. Just like they have no idea anything about history. They're just like, I mean, what can you expect from VCAL students?
Do you know why though? Honestly, do you know why? As like, this is gonna make me sound like the biggest fucking boomer, but I generally think one of the main reason people are making such a big fuss about it is because there's fucking Karen sitting there on her phone tweeting bullshit.
Oh, 100%.
About this bad, this that. So it's not like before where, it's not before like where you have rumors, you have this and that, and now you have like people that have a lot of like respect and following just chatting bare shit. And people grab onto that.
It's a strong. There's two things to be said, three things really. But the thing is, there's two sides, right? There's people that understand what's going on and feel strongly about it, and there's people that are dumbasses, right? And then there was an instance, and I don't know if we talked about it in the podcast, but I definitely was talking about there was this like influencers who got signed up with a Big W shopping department store thing, and then they were doing all these influencer videos for them, obviously get a paid deal, whatever else. Then they came out and said, oh, vaccine's fake, the COVID's fake, whatever. They were like anti-vaxxers, some bullshit. And then everyone immediately said, fuck you, fuck Big W, fuck yous both, you're horrible people, blah, 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 and cancelled them as quick as they could because they, they got said what they said. But then the other side of things is, yes, there's people that are sharing all this misinformation. There's people that are guilting other people in it. They're going, oh, I can't believe it. You got a vaccine, blah, blah, blah. Like just absolutely railing on people and making like the anxiety go through. But also the way that the media is at the moment, like our national newspapers, news channels, all that, it's all controlled by one people that have an agenda, and their agenda is towards one particular government. And if the other government's doing anything, they're very critical of it. So here in Victoria, we're the other government. And like they're very critical of it. So there's all these protesters of these dickheads doing the stupid shit to the war memorial, whatever else. And the newspaper's like, oh, well, it's all the government's fault. Blame it on him because they've got an agenda. So it's like there is no like we just want to go to a news outlet and just get the facts and not the bullshit, and you can't because everywhere it's just bullshit. So what everyone does is they go straight to the health department, get the numbers, and make up their own mind based on that because you can't trust anyone because everyone's full of fucking shit. They're all got an agenda, so it's all over the place. It's a joke, and I don't know. Just my thought is, particularly around with like ScoMo and the bullshit, is
I can hear your cat. Sorry,
Chip has some opinions. Yes.
I love how.
Go away.
Shelby mutes herself so we can hear it and we can just hear it coming through.
He just sat behind me and he yelled at me and he's like, we need to go now. And I'm like, I don't know what for, but thank you, cat. Anyway, what I was going to say is that, like, my opinion, and this is my opinion, the Australian way of life and, being an Aussie and, like, what Aussie culture should be is that we look after the little guy. We look after, the country people, the people that are doing all their farming in the bush and whatever else. And that means that instead of having, spending $6 million on fucking... Yeah, I agree, Chip. It's spending $6 million on fucking fireworks. He's just agreeing. It should go to like healthcare and nurses and teaching and stuff. But not only that, we shouldn't be buying nuclear submarines right now. But
we did.
But we did.
And they don't work. The nuclear submarine. Did you what's that fucking Ranger bitch in WA?
Well, sorry, what?
Bitch?
You've been in Australia too long.
Pauline Hanson.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we fucking funded these submarines.
Yeah.
And she went on this committee again. Oh, now my fucking cat's starting. And then she had the like, she's got the generals of the Navy, like fucking the leaders of the fucking Australian Navy, and she's gone like, so why are we investing our money in these submarines that can only go underwater for an hour? And he's like, what? Do you know what these submarines do? And she's just like, I read that because you're changing the engines around, you can only go underwater for an hour. And this guy literally is face palming, going, why the fuck do I have to explain?
This goes back to what Gravy said. They probably saw someone on Facebook do a post about we're putting we're taking the V8s out and we're putting V6s in our submarines. They can only churn underwater for 1 hour. And then they're like, oh, facts.
These are leaders of the Australian country. Like, these are people in positions that literally can change who gets funding in schools and who doesn't.
No. See, this is where you're wrong. They're not leading shit. They're not doing nothing. They're literally just sitting there as long as they can get as much money as they can get, and then just passing on the problem to the next guy.
Pretty much.
It's like we haven't had a decent leader in for fucking ever. Like, in my opinion, the only person who's ever like got in there and like gone, I'm changing things and started changing shit was Kevin Rudd and got shat on it for it.
Yeah. No, John Great Gordon, I've heard he was one of the best prime ministers.
I'm just thinking more like most recent sort of thing. But
and I'm not biased because he was my great uncle, but like
John is he great uncle?
Was the prime minister of Australia, yeah.
What went wrong with you?
I don't know. Fuck it, I'm going to lead this country next year. Fuck it, I'm going into...
So that's how you got in.
Oh, no, I sucked a lot of dick if I can get here, tell you.
And burned down his house.
And burnt down my... I did not burn down my...
I don't know what's wrong with the cat, but I'm starting to think I should swap Shelby.
What do you mean?
He's just so fired up and being noisy. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I just like thought I'd play with him for a minute while you talked and see if that helped. So I was like throwing him in the air and like catching him, being like, wee!
No!
He likes it.
The cat
and like really harassing him, but that just made it worse.
You just alinity the cat for 5 minutes and then fucking think he's gonna be fine. No.
I think our cat likes that sort of stuff. I think we should start king shaming him, but it's like he loves getting thrown around. But I saw there was an app where you can get. I think we should maybe invest in it, Shelby. Where you can make it so you can understand what your cat says.
Oh, it's like one of those translator apps.
It's a cat. It's a cat translator app. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna download it. Okay, and then we're gonna find out.
I don't know if they fucking work or not. I thought about making one and then just doing it as a meme. So no matter what the cat says, it says like a mildly offensive shit. So like you go, make it all look professional, and then they press the button. It's like, okay, now record what the cat's saying, and the cat says it, and it'd be like, I don't love you.
Some like communist propaganda.
Yeah.
I'm downloading Meow Talk Cat Translator, and it's under the category entertainment. So, we'll see what happens.
You listen to the cat. You translate the cat. He's like, I disagree. I feel like we need more fireworks. Oh boy, I don't know. Cat's weird, man. I don't know what to do with it.
Honestly, I think the biggest problem with like the fact that so many people just read some bullshit and believe it rather than actually like inform them themselves.
100%.
I know a lot of smart people, like really smart people, that just come off as absolute fucking idiots because they're misinformed.
Did you see in the podcast topics chat, we've got a chat here that we put our topics in to help us remember things in case we're... Did you see the photo of the protester people, the one that Frog put in there?
The unvaxxed, waxed and ready... Yeah.
Ready to what, Gravy?
Ready to climax.
Unvaxxed,
like,
waxed, and ready to climax. And she looks like the biggest fucking drongo I've fucking ever seen in my life.
100%. 100% is, yeah.
Where's the meth pipe should be on a fucking t-shirt.
It's
fucking...
It makes me facepalm so hard. People, like, this is the people with people like, they're like, oh my God, Melbourne's lost its mind. Blah, blah. It's still only just a very small percentage of Melbourne who are turning up on the street with shirts that says things like that. The rest of Melbourne are pretty well behaved. It's just that small percentage. But when everyone else is sitting at home watching Netflix constantly and doing fuck all, really, that's slow news. They can't film them and put them all over the news. If there's 1,000 idiots in high-vis fucking clothes protesting not being able to eat in a closed quarters because of COVID, well, that's news, and that's what we're going to see. So, yep. Shelby's off looking for the cat.
I don't know.
I'm so
I'll be honest. I'm generally so happy I don't leave my house.
Yeah. Well, I saw.
Like, never in my life have I been more glad than being a fucking bedroom gremlin.
Yeah, and like I'm to a degree I'm the same. I feel no shame in saying no. I'm not going out. I'm staying home. Where before, there was an obligation to go out and socialize and do that sort of stuff. Like I am grateful for that, but also I kind of want to go outside, just be in the sun or go shopping or like see and experience new things, which is just so much shit's just put on hold. So, but I can live and wait. But and we've talked about this many times. We now know that there's a lot of people that don't like being home for whatever reason, or just don't know how to function in their own space. They need to be at a pub or somewhere with their mates or whatever. They don't know how to function by themselves, and that's just life, unfortunately. So
yeah,
it's yeah. But I did see today that and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people in New South Wales that are happy to see that because the whole thing that we've done with COVID, because lockdowns have obviously just fucking not working at the moment, because of all the reasons we've talked about many times. So they've all lent on everyone get vaccinated and we'll let you out of lockdown. And then today was we're getting close to 80% vaccination in New South Wales at least. And then they came out and said, yeah, 80% vaccination means that the people that are vaccinated are free. You people that aren't vaccinated aren't free. You know that, right? And everyone's like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I think if they fucking passported people, or you have to get an ID to prove you're vaccinated. So I'd fucking love it, because these guys would go, these types of people will literally fucking lose their minds. Like, they would be like, this is all a conspiracy. They're doing it to control us, blah, blah, blah. And I'll be like, yeah.
That's what's happening. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And what are you going to do about it? Fucking get vaccinated and fuck off.
Bro, I don't know. A lot of the people that like do shit like that really strike me like the kind of the motherfuckers to be like, I don't know, say something stupid like, that if you have like the fucking driver's license, the government has your face.
Oh yeah,
stupid shit like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, the government is trying to control us and this and that. And it's like, you do realize the whole point of a government
is to do that. Yeah.
The whole point of having laws.
Yeah. There was a meme going around that
is to control you.
There was a meme.
My country, mate. Not
There's that meme going around of people being like, they took a guy getting interviewed at these protests in Melbourne. And they're like, I'm not getting the vaccine. I don't know what's in it. I don't want to put it in my body. And then it goes, hard cuts to two tradies underneath the bridge under the protests, so you can see the protests happening in the background, snorting shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, guys. What the? What are you?
The ones with 3 teeth, and they're like, "Fuck, I don't want to get vaccinated. I could bloody die from it." And
I just had a great idea.
Pretty sure,
let's put the vaccine in the ketamine.
Oh
yeah.
Oh, put the vaccine in the ketamine. Put the vaccine in the. I'm gonna start out. I'm gonna get T-shirts.
It's such a good chance.
So we rock up to the protest. They were like, "Hey guys, you want some ketamine?" And they're like, "Oh hell yeah!" It's like, yeah, you're vaccinated.
Got you, bitch. Suck it.
Right. I don't know. I'm not getting a vaccine because I don't need a vaccine for a virus I don't have. Okay. That's just how it is.
Yeah. No worries. Right. So the icing on the cake of all this whole protesting thing was that is a COVID site now. The protesters had COVID. So,
yeah, they did.
Yep, and the thing was, one of them, like, there was one guy who was positive the next day, and he went to hospital. And like the number one comment that I just fucking tickled me right is like, why did he go to hospital if it's not a real virus?
Yeah, I just loved. I watched a Facebook Live video, and I was just like, I'm just gonna mention this one. I'm just gonna say in the comments just one thing. So I did, and I got 15 replies calling me a dog cunt. And I was like, oh, yeah, nice. And then I replied going, why are you wearing masks if you're not scared of the vaccine? Why was there like 50% of them wearing fucking masks.
There's no consistency. Honestly, I think now it's gotten to the point where like they just don't have anything else to do. So
it's boredom.
Yeah, like I think if they gave them something shiny to play with, they would be like, well, I've got the shiny ball, so I'll look after this.
We've talked about it before. These are people who don't have hobbies.
Yeah,
they don't have interests. They've never had like an interest in learning and in improving themselves as people. They're just people who are now bored and are looking for somebody to blame.
I honestly think
get a fucking hobby, pick up a book,
get a dog.
The government should legalize weed, and no one would give a fuck about leaving the house.
Well, I mean, they're moving towards doing that in New South Wales. They're looking at.
It is. I'm on a trial for it. So
yeah, but they're looking at setting it so that people can open their own dispensaries and shit. So it's moving along. It's coming.
One's around the corner from me. Yeah. An actual dispensary for medical.
Yep.
Because I've got a permit to take it.
Yep.
Because it's a trial basis for people with certain illnesses.
Yeah.
So it is already open, but if they just made it legal,
no, well, that's what I mean. All the groundwork's going in. You could see it. Yeah. Like if you could see that in 2-3 years, it'll be.
Oh, just do it now, though.
Yeah. You're not wrong, but
now's the time to do it. This is the best time they should do it. Fuck. Like literally,
just fucking mellow everyone out.
It would like they literally like everyone would just be like, I don't want to fucking leave the house. I'm too fucking stoned. Like, fuck that.
I have a question for Meech.
Okay.
Are you having like edibles? Or are you smoking it?
No, it's like a liquid, and and it's a dose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just I just wanted to make sure that you weren't around an open flame.
Oh my god. Meech can't be trusted with fire, is what you're going with.
Oh my god! No, I don't. I'm not really. I don't smoke. Like I haven't smoked in a very long time, and I don't smoke a lot.
I'm just not willingly.
Yeah. So
that's what I'm excited about. Like when it does get legalized and like dispensaries open and stuff like that, that I'll just be able to easily just go and buy like gummies or something because I like weed, but I don't like smoking.
Yeah, so
that's the good thing about
weed. I've acquired edibles illegally. I don't fucking care, honestly, if it goes out.
I don't think anyone does.
Yeah, illegally have to acquire cannabis to make edibles. I make edible chocolates and butter, so I can take doses because the alternative is I go to this dispensary clinic and it's about $6 to $8 for a single dose. So I'm like, great, it's legal for me to take cannabis. Fuck, it's fucking $8 for one dose. That's a day. I mean,
how much is the dose?
It's literally a daily dose, like one dose for the day. Like it's like a little drip thing, like a little thing, liquid, and it goes like you just put it under your tongue, and it's like So and it's THC.
I mean, if you really think about it, like if you compare, like if it lasts you the whole day, or if it's like for however much it lasts you, like somebody that smokes, I don't know what weed prices are over there, but for half decent weed, you're expecting at least like 10 a gram, so it's not that bad.
So
but also like the whole process of obtaining that is probably a lot more expensive than just fucking growing weed and fucking smoking it. Like
antidepressants and painkillers cost me $40 a month. If I was to go on this, it would cost me $40 a week.
Yeah, right.
So instead, I've bought...
Yeah, but do you know what the difference is? Like, the big difference, in my opinion, is...
One's not destroying my liver and kidneys, and the other one is...
Yeah, legit. Yeah. If you slip and you, like, accidentally take a little bit more than what you normally would, right? So take people that are prescribed on something like Xanax, right? Yeah. If they slip up and they accidentally take too much, the chances of them overdosing are so much higher.
Yeah.
Than something going wrong with like weed.
Away from myself. I'm not even allowed to take my own medicine. My wife has to open it up.
So fun facts, because I've just been reading about this because I was only reading about this recently, but I only read at a high level. I just had a quick look again. So possession of cannabis has been decriminalised in South Australia, Northern Territory, and ACT for the last 30 years. Yep. The ACT Labor government passed laws in 2020 allowing adults to grow and possess small amounts for personal use. So that's the ACT.
Under your waist, right? Under your waist height?
Something like that. Having said that, the Victorian government have been running an inquiry since the year 2019 investigating how to prevent harms of cannabis use, citing that 29% of young Victorians use cannabis more than those who actually smoke tobacco. So that's young. But the absolute shit sandwich that goes on the top of all this is Victoria is not looking to decriminalize weed. We are focused on dealing with the pandemic and the challenges that come with it.
No, that should be.
So that's them saying we could do it, but we're busy.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like fuck.
And I mean, let's really be honest here. Decriminalized, legal, illegal, whatever the fuck it is, people are gonna fucking smoke it anyway.
Well, that's their point. That's what they're saying.
High priority,
what they want to do?
People are gonna fucking do it anyway.
Yeah, what they want to do, and this is the whole point, is they want to make it so that they can control it and make sure people do it in a safe way. Because
no one has died from cannabis overdose ever.
No, but
no one.
No, but that's not to say that people aren't going and trying to obtain it illegally and doing naughty shit to do that.
Yeah,
they want to make it.
True.
It's the big picture stuff. It's not the actual. That's what the study is. Because that's a lot of it is like, you know, do you want if you don't want to go meet with Mr. Shady and, you know, get into some shady business to get some weed when, you know, the weed itself's not going to harm you. You're probably going to get in more trouble doing something else. So why not decriminalize it or make it at least easier to obtain and manage and like educate, you know, instead of fucking just being going, that's bad, don't touch it. Yeah. So it's whatever. But it's interesting that, again, the people making the laws nationally, the ACT, Australian Capital Territory, made sure that it's okay for themselves, you know? They I think in the ACT's probably got the least amount of laws, really.
But just think, like,
they got fireworks.
Think about this, like, in a very logical sense, right?
Yeah.
If they were to legalize it right now, like, just say, go for your life, whatever, just do it right now. Yep. People would open shops. They would have to create a business.
Is that essential? Are we allowed to do that in lockdown? Sure, why not?
They would have to register as a business.
Yeah, it definitely is.
The money coming in would go to taxes. The pump into the government, the fucking revenue they would get.
Oh man, imagine the subs they could buy. So many nuclear subs.
It was $100 million in just Colorado. They got $100 million in 1 month in revenue.
I'm with you, 100%. You should be running this country like your great uncle.
I should be fucking running this country. Yeah. The problem. I've always thought about it. I should. The problem I know I'll face is I have a British accent, and I can think about 60% of the Australians are like, "Oh yeah, nah, fuck it, fuck this cunt." Yeah,
what a pom! It's a pom. Hey mate, go play some cricket. All right. What I'm learning is Australia's not the smartest country. All right, it's still a nice country, but it's not the smartest. And
I don't think there is such thing as a smart country.
Yeah, you know what? Probably right. Probably not. But we are running out of time, so we should probably wrap things up. But if you want to vote for Meech as president of the world,
fuck it. I'm gonna put an application now to become a parliament person. I don't know what they have to do, but
now.
A guide on the government website. How do I become prime minister?
I'm pretty sure if you just went out there and said, "Vote for me, I'm going to make weed legal," you get a few votes.
I've literally just Googled how do I become prime minister. There's a website. Welcome to the new PEO website. Let's show you around. Okay. Well,
while Meech is signing up to be prime minister, let's wrap things up. It's that time of the episode where we should plug ourselves. Obviously, Meech we're plugging his vote 1 for Meech now.
Type F in chat.
Shelby, do you want to kick us off? Where can people find you? You're streaming at least once a week, told of these days.
Yeah, you can find everything you need about me at shellbunny.com. There's all my socials and everything there.
And you can buy merchandise now, right?
Merchandise and
body pillows coming.
Yeah, I had somebody draw a body pillow out of me.
Of her, not a VTuber. It's actually Shelby. No. Yeah, 100%. In all seriousness, Meech, where can people find you?
Australia.gov.au.
Yeah, Australian.gov.au. Yeah. No, I've been streaming this whole week. Twitch.tv/Smeechall, SMEECHALL.
Oh yeah.
I'm doing free artwork for the rest of this month to fund towards Stand Up for Cancer because and a friend of mine unfortunately passed away this week from it. So yeah, that's where I'll be doing.
Great cause and good art too.
Yeah, it's
great art.
Fancy.
Yeah, pretty fancy. I've been lurking around.
See you.
Yeah. Gravy. I don't know if you stream. You play a lot of Minecraft.
Do I even stream? I don't know at this point. Just Gravy LP on it. Either Gravy LP or Baby Oil Plug on everything.
It hurts my soul that I had to go at baby to at you today.
At Baby Oil Plug. At Baby Oil Plug. Bro, don't disrespect, bro.
It's a little bit of disrespect.
Johnson sponsorship coming soon.
Johnson, yeah, you should. I've never met a man who spoke about baby oil as much as this one. So
as much as I do.
I've never heard anything bad about Johnson & Johnson. It's all legit.
It's all legit. Yeah, nothing bad ever.
Nothing bad ever, Johnson & Johnson.
Okay, well, thanks for listening, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Obviously, ZLB Podcast on Twitter. We're on Spotify, Apple, Amazon. If you can rate us, comment, whatever. We haven't actually got any legitimate comments. The only comment I got was get rid of North Star, which was done by some guy named McDora. So we're working on that. We might try and get rid of the Americans, but we kind of need them around in case another emu war breaks out. We need some allies to come in and help us beat them off. Not beat them off. You know what I mean. It's. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you here next week. No beating off emus. Goodbye.
Bye.
See you later.